Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. So welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, Season 3. This is Episode 2 with Shannon Johnson. As many of you know, she is one of the people that I refer to as one of my dear friends. Whether she agrees with that or not is entirely on her side, but she is very dear to me. I love conversations with her. She has been with me from the beginning of my spiritual journey into the space. She and I met during a past life regression class that we took together. And it was in large part because of her ability to channel that I became interested in learning and pointing myself in this direction. So you could say that she and Anna Maria, who is coming up next, they are both to blame for this summit. It is their fault that we are all here together. So I have no idea where we're going to go. Shannon and I always have wonderful conversations that are a lot of fun. I know that she has an idea to talk about different tools and things that will help along the channeling process. So I will let her kind of take the lead on that. But before we get started, as always, invitation for those of you that are with us live. Feel free to ask questions, raise your hand if you want to come online, or put questions in the chat. This is an interactive conversation. Shannon and I can talk for hours. So if you guys are quiet, don't worry about it. We will take care of it. But if you want to interact with us, you're always welcome to do so. So Shannon, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and then we will get the conversation going.
Fabulous. Can everybody hear me okay? Good? Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me again, Daniel. I'm Shannon Johnson. I am a metaphysical facilitator. And what that means is that I kind of use a whole lot of different tools to help other people get their spiritual messages and whatever they need to receive to help them live a better and happier life that Spirit sends us into different directions on. So from mediumship to past life regressions, different healing modalities, and teaching, and even writing the book with the Stones of Wisdom with the Cool Council. That was all trans-channeled. I've been in this field for 25 years. And I went through my spiritual awakening at the age of 30 when there was no internet to be able to research anything. You had to allow Spirit to help kind of throw a mentor into your path, and hopefully you recognize it when it happens and you pick it up. Otherwise, they keep coming at you and you never know what you're going to get. So for me, that happened for me at 30 out in Las Vegas when I was married to my first husband with my 2 daughters. And once I opened that door and said, okay, let's take this adventure. It's been an incredible ride ever since then. So, you know, for me, when I began, I remember sitting down with a medium for a 10-minute little spiritual reading at this spiritual church out in Las Vegas that my mom and I went to. And she looked at me and she was like, you know, you're supposed to be in my seat. And I went, no. And she was like, oh, they have other plans for you. Just, you'll know. Time's going to come. You'll know. And I started doing mediumship class, not mediumship, meditation classes with this woman. And really learning how to be able to follow a guided meditation and visualize again. Now, bear in mind, I was doing accounting at this point in my life. That's a very black and white, ruled, regulated world. You know, it's very, very 3D, very closed-minded. There is no middle when you're a bean counter. It's just black and white. ledgers, books. And here are spirits going, ma'am, hello, hi. And you're like, okay. So for me, meditation classes with a mentor was my first adventure to begin to make that connection to my guide team. Because that was my first question, was like, okay, who are you guys? I know somebody's been there, but who are you? And that's what I wanted to know. Who are they? Who am I connecting to? Because I did not have a belief system either. I was kind of like, yeah, there's stuff out there. And I know there's stuff out there. I want to stay here in reality. But meditation is one way that'll open up the door. There's so many different tools to use. So just because you're going to see some of us, and yeah, I already know I'm going to be disappearing during this talk today. They made that quite clear when I was setting up, and my speech is already starting to have issues. You may not want to talk to the dead person first, okay? And that's okay, because spirit is totally cool with however you want to tap your foot in. So for me, my first tap in was using oracle cards. Nice and easy. Now you can tell by this, they look pretty old and worn, and they are. This was my first deck that I bought. Some people are drawn more to the standard tarot deck, right? We've all heard about tarot, but there are some that this is an immediate turnoff to connecting to spirit, because there's residual energy around that belief system of this is bad, this is, witchy. This will bring something in that you don't want to know about. All right. And that's okay. If oracle doesn't work for you, which tarot didn't work for me, I wasn't drawn to it. I understand it after years of study, and I can work with it now. But in the beginning, that was not my draw. I was drawn to angel cards. And my favorite deck was more mystical, mermaids and dolphins, right? So these are tools that you can use to begin that communication without you having to allow spirit close into your energy and allow them to connect to you through the deck of cards. You can even use a basic set of playing cards, because I tell you what, centuries ago, we didn't have oracle decks. We barely had tarot decks. We used whatever kind of the tools we could, including one of the most ancient tools of the Druids and the Celtics, even though I have them in a little Egyptian bag. I'll take a couple out. Runes. My runes are pieces of wood that my husband made me a full set of runes in the garage from some wood that he had. Okay. Runes were the original work that the Egyptians, the Druids, the Celtics, the priestesses, all of us used to use these tools to read. There's still practical little guides out there for those that want to use this type of tool. You can even make your own. Take a little stones and pebbles, paint them on there. You see them for people doing that with little gratitude sayings and things like that. You can do it with runes too. Runes have an intention. Every symbol has an ancient meaning. It embodies an entire message from spirit, a connection through the one symbol that it has. Okay, so it's like speaking an old language that disappeared, and suddenly it all makes sense in today's language. So that's another tool you can use. If you're not comfortable having spirit come up and talk in your head, and you're kind of like, who's that person in my head? and you don't want that, these are the great ways of connecting with spirit, connecting with your team, connecting with your higher self, and asking the questions that you're wanting to have answered. Now, I personally, after a couple of years, I don't read for my family. I don't read for myself, because I can influence the answers myself depending on my mood, depending on my own intention, because my energy gets involved in the messages that are happening. So this is where spirit is often will say, you know, take care of the vehicle that you're in so you can be a clear conduit. Because when I sit down for a reading, if I have a whole bunch of stuff and drama going on in my life,
Hey,
in
Shannon,
my head, yeah.
let me interrupt you for a second. My computer just froze.
Oh,
That's on my side. So the last thing I heard was that you don't do readings for your family.
yes.
Can you continue from there?
Yes. So I don't do readings for my direct family or for myself, because my own intent and energy can influence what the messages are for them as well as for myself, because I'm a player in their game, right? And I'm a player in my game, the plan that I got going on. So this is where you need to think about when you're playing with spiritual tools. You have to sit your baggage down, sit it off to the side. Whether you're doing this for yourself, somebody else, practicing, playing, any of it, try to remember all of that clutter in here affects everything that you're connecting into and having them connect into, because you're the bigger conduit receiving on this side of the planes. Okay, so you can influence what they're giving you because you got this going on, just rah, 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 rah. So when you want to connect, take yourself a couple of minutes, always do a little bit of deep breathing and set everything down. Then pick up your cards, then pick up your runes, then pick up your paper for automatic writing. Automatic writing is one of the easiest ones to begin communication with your spiritual team. And people often wonder, well, how you've seen people like doodle. When you used to do that in high school, you'd be doodling because you're listening to the teacher drone on and on and on and on and on and on. And you're like, and you're doing this doodle. That's how you allow spirit to then take over the pen and allow the words that are coming through onto the page. Blank paper is your best conduit for automatic writing, because we are taught in schools to write our papers, to do our homework on lined paper. We've now got color and structure that the mental body then grabs onto and goes, oh, we have structure. We need to focus on this. Spirit wants a blank page, because that's when we allow the space to then step forward and fill it for us. And the mental body goes, oh, I don't have anything there. I can't even write a straight line. No, you can't, right? And you ever try writing on blank paper and you end up with your stuff all like or angled? So automatic writing using blank paper allows the mental body to kind of sit down by its side and go, okay, what are we going to allow intuition and creativity to step forward to fill it? Versus I have lines to create sentence structure. Okay, this is where your brain, the mental body, comes in and goes, oh, no, 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 no. We have structure to work with. Okay. I'm going to go back to decks for a couple of seconds. And I know we're going to end up pulling a card today too. You notice I'm going to start like itching because they want to come in very badly. And so they're tickling my head. And another thing, Your body is an awesome conduit for spirit to connect to you with their signs and symbols. You know, when you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh my God, did you see? And da 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 da. And all of a sudden the hair on your arm stand up and you're like, I don't have the chills. I'm not cold. Oh, that's a spirit symbol. That's a spirit sign using your physical form. So even in a meditation, doing meditative walking, doing energetic type of exercising, perhaps yoga or qigong, ask your spirit team to step forward with you and say, hey, show me, give me physical signs of your presence that represent you and help me begin to decipher the language. And they're going to work with you. They're dying to do it because they have stuff and they've been doing it. It's a matter of you putting now together the two cues. Okay. For me, I know when my hair is like itching so bad, like it is right now, I could just like, they're on my head right back in here, wanting to jump into the conversation. And that's cool. I love it. My body temperature also increases. The more that I channel, my nose runs. It's really embarrassing. You're doing a reading and suddenly you're like, excuse me, I need a tissue because I'm like suddenly booger face. And you're like, I don't have a cold. I don't have these things. But think about it. They're operating within the brain capacity, pushing on all of that sinus cavity because you've got the pineal gland right in the center behind that sinus cavity that's now getting like, whoa, electricity just there. It's live. And so it's flushing the body fluids. I had somebody one time go, are you sure you're feeling okay? And I was like, I'm perfectly fine, but I look a mess. And that's because the more that they were talking and the more that they were connecting in through me, the more that they were pushing everything else out. And it's sometimes a little embarrassing and you just kind of have to go, okay, well, that's what we got for you today. Huh. Right? When you start and you're working with different tools like cards, don't get so stuck on the book and the book's meaning, because most of the time spirit wants you to take your eyes out of focus and wants you to see what stands up. Because what stands up has more meaning than what the book, what somebody created to dictate the meaning, truly is. I love this one. This apparently is our card for today's talk. This card is from the Crystal Mandala Oracle. And this card is the Divine Rebel. Oh, it is a Crystal Masters card 333, Ascended Master Kuan Yin and Pearl. But it's an absolutely stunning card. Very beautiful energy. And for me, this is letting us know that we have a lot of masters and spiritual support today in how the Channeling Summit is going to progress over its 4 days. So it's a very blessed event today. And I'm feeling a little rebellious myself anyway. So I do the same thing when I pull a card for somebody. You know, you want to be able to look and see what is the card saying to you and not what is the book telling you the card means, because that's when you're going to get a whole lot more of a meaning in how it speaks to you. This is the Air Dragon. This is from the Druid Animal Oracle cards. For me, I'm drawn to images. Images have meaning. For me, this card represents kind of where we're at in the spiritual shift journey. You can see we're at war. The air is fighting. The winds are blowing. The winds of change are already happening. Very beautiful message. Okay. Taking care of your vehicle, right? There's some people that are going to tell you that you need to eat clean. You have to do this. You have to meditate every day for a certain amount of time. No. It's up to you about how you take care of your vehicle and how you take care of the vehicle to connect. My big caution to people is remember, when you're working with humans, animals, in the nature world, spirit, you are making energetic connection cords out of your energy fields and your vehicle continuously. So the more that you're out there connecting, you also have to remember to be disconnecting and taking care of this. Otherwise, all of that output will deplete you. You will find you'll have restless sleep. You'll be easier to get sick and colds, all these other things, because you're burning all this energy and you're getting all of this clogged energy through all these connective cords that you've created just in everyday living. And we don't even know that we do it. But now that you're aware, because you awoke to your spiritual body, it allows you then to tend to it just like you would your physical, your mental, and your emotional body. Keeping it clean. And keeping it clean is really about just tending to your stuff. All four bodies. Makes it a whole easier to be able to hear and listen to them when they come in. Okay. This is also referred to as an altar. My kids are always like, Mom, anybody that goes into our house, they know that's not like just decorations. There's no way it could be decorations. Now, yes, it's a spiritual altar. It has all my doodah, all my crystals and my light. For me, I like to have a space. This is my abundance corner of the home. In Feng Shui, the farthest left corner of the home from your front door when you enter it, farthest left back corner is your abundance corner. That's where there's a lot of energy flowing about the abundance in life, the abundance in the home, how the energy flows within the home. So we are in that farthest left-hand corner of my house, and I created it into basically my spiritual adventure of light and dark, female and male balance. And people tend to want to add to it. Once they know you have a little something, they're like, oh, I found you something special. I found you a crystal. I found you a rock. Right? I see bright light in the upper left corner of the cabinet. Yes. I also would do a lot of readings in this part of the house because there's a lot of energy over here. And you would see my cats love to come up because spirit loves to be right up here in the reflective glass. So think about that. Mirrors and glass around your space are also reflective items that allow spirit to come in and work through you. Okay. It's just like making a doorway, a portal. It's a punch through time and space. But every time we punch through time and space, we also have to close it back up. Otherwise, we're leaving holes all through the ether, kind of like what we did physically to the stratosphere, right? Same kind of concept. So these are divination tools. Other ones that are my favorites, and I'm sure, I believe Daniel has a couple of these bad boys. Pendulums. They're a great divination tool. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, You need to ask the pendant before you buy it, because you'll see them on racks, like, 20 of them. And you're like, "Ooh, look at this one, look at that one." Not every pendulum is for you. And not every pendulum is meant for certain types of work. Just like crystals, because they are made of crystals, they have their preferences, they have their personalities. So you can ask when you see a whole bunch of are you for me? It'll get warm, or your hands are like, and as soon as you touch that stone, you know that one's for you. Okay. So like for me, this one is my personal working pendulum that I like to play with if I'm gonna ask questions. This one came home to me. And so my husband made it its own cord with hematite and amethyst. And she originally was on a crystal chandelier at the very fancy Charlotte Country Club in North Carolina. And there was no place for her back on the light. And my husband asked her and was like, said it was coming home to you. This crystal, I use it for healing sessions. That's what she likes to work on. She likes to work on healing sessions. So if I'm doing distance healing, I pull her out and go, okay, it's time to work. And she loves to be able to help scanning bodies, scanning energy of homes, things like that. So she's all about healing spaces. And I'm going to say, because my black tourmaline pendulum maintains a more masculine crystal energy. And he likes to do readings. He don't like to play around with healing. That's for her to do. So yes, crystals will even express a male and a female type of energy to you, depending on how you activate them and how you work with them. Some of them are neutral. They're just like, hey, I like hanging in the neutral zone. And that's good too. They're great tools to work with, to ask questions, to learn as well how to decipher the messages you're hearing, maybe clairaudient, claircognizant, however it's coming in another way, and you're wanting to clarify and get maybe a little validation. Using a pendulum is a good way to get a validation. And I wish I had remembered to bring my dowsing rods over, but I forgot before we started. But dowsing rods are another great tool. You can make a pair of dowsing rods out of wire hangers, cut them up, bend it the way that you want it. I made ours, and I say ours because I even made a set for my granddaughter who's 7. My husband's an electrician, so I have a lot of copper electrical wire that I strip. And I made each of us a set of dowsing rods to talk to spirit. And so that's also a fun way to work with kids, because it's not intimidating. Okay. It's a way of opening up a conversation in a safe way of using a tool instead of using a clair. All right. Kids have a natural ability, but we have slowly been shifting the teaching of keeping the abilities open. It's then about giving them the tools to be able to verify what they're receiving. And you, as the senior, get to help play with some of these fabulous ways of bringing spirit into your life without intimidating or having things being overbearing at first, of working with your intuitive ability of clairaudient is usually the first one that people strive to fine tune. Claircognizance is clear knowing. So that one, most people are kind of like, yeah, my intuition, and they're comfortable with. But when it's about some dead person talking to them, they start to kind of back up and freak out. My granddaughter even just went through the whole thing in October of getting, she's in second grade. She's like, comes home and she says to my daughter, you know, we've been learning about, Halloween and, you know, so, and witches are bad. My daughter says, who said witches are bad? What are you talking about? They just work with stuff. They work with nature and everything. She goes, your meme is a witch. My granddaughter's eyes get about this big. She's like, my meme's not a witch. No, she doesn't do those things. So she comes to say good night, and my daughter had prompted her, ask meme. So she asked me, and I said, yes, meme is a witch, but meme is also a medium and a healer. And I talk to dead people and I help people here in the living with messages from those from the dead. And her little 7-year-old self, who was very afraid about witches just, hours before, looks at me and she was like, I helped you with some of that stuff, didn't I? Yes, you did. Am I a witch too? If you want to be, baby. And suddenly her energy changed about it. And she was like, okay, meme, that's when we get to go play with your rocks, isn't it? Yeah, baby. That's when we go play with the plants and the rocks. I teach my granddaughter about the magical ability of plants. This is a fabulous way to help your home, help you, help with your connection to spirit. This is a great book that helps give you about the masculine energy, the power. It's kind of like its medicinal powers of the plants, what they can help clean energetically, even down to what planet they're aligned with. So this is another tool. Our natural world, which our beautiful next speaker, Anna Maria, is going to be talking about today. And we have her book over here in the glass. The natural world is one of our biggest tools that spirit loves to use. We just need to pay attention and stop ignoring it and blowing it off like, oh, it's a cloud. Yeah, it's a cloud that looks like a dog. And whether I look at that cloud, my God, that looks like, that's grandpa, not a dog. Oh my God. And we all go, ha, ha, ha. No, that was grandpa pushing his form as much as he could using that cloud because you were paying attention. And the natural world will work with spirit to bring that into us. And that is when life changes from the mundane to the magical, because you begin to become aware of the magic of everything here in 3D, that spirit is then able to amplify and utilize to remind us of the magical beings that we truly are, the God within us that we forgot when we got here, right? Apparently, the water dragon needed to be seen because it fell down on my floor. Right? You can even, thank you so much, Caroline, about my corner. I'm going to turn my thing around because I want you to see the opposite side. I did something different over there, and it represents the animal world. For me, I brought in the spiritual elements of earth, air, fire, water, spirit, ether, into my corner of this part of the house, because it helps me stay connected, right? People say the kitchen is the hub. It's the heart of the home. Well, that's where I want my spirit friends to also be coming in, is being able to feel that heart of the home as well. So you can even do something as simple as this. I have to unpop my locks. I have 2 wheels left. Okay. That's my woodlands and fairies. And yes, a little Looney Tunes too. Because why not? You got a skunk and a cat, and you got a bird and another cat, and a cookie jar. I mean, come on, it's a whole lot of play and a whole lot of fun. So don't be afraid to use the things in your home that represent you and spirit and the natural world. They love it. I'll come in and they'll be, you know, my roses have moved because spirit decided to go play with it, you know. Anything can be used that represents you and your connection with them. Now, it's 3:37. They want to play. So I know a couple people may have a question, and I'm talking like reading question, not like channeling question, not like a more like you know, I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
They're pushing you out, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. They're like,
see you on the back end.
hang on, I gotta get my air out of the way. It's too hot. Too hot.
So for those of you that aren't familiar with Shannon, Shannon connects with a group of entities, some of which you would know. Isa is part of the group, and Isa is another name for Yeshua or Jesus. The book that she wrote or channeled is a collection of messages from her team, the Cool Council, as she refers to them. And highly recommend the book to anybody that's interested in exploring a deeper understanding of who we are, especially if you're a healer. The second half of the book is for healers. Some of the entities within that group are very high vibrational entities that speak through some of the other members.
We're going to do a couple of different types of channeling today. So we're already shifting her out of her space. She'll return for part 2.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
and just for our purposes, who's speaking with us?
This is Ezra. I'm going to begin. Isa is going to be speaking after I am. So I wanted to come in because, and I've spoken before, but I was a little blunt. But I want you guys to understand that everything that she does, every single one of you are capable of doing. You all have teams to work with. You all have a collective to turn to help in the physical world and in the non-physical world. When she first started connecting with me, I came in as a very old man. She had seen me as this in her dreams as a young child. She thought I was a grandparent of some sort in the family lineage and was comfortable with that facade for many years. That was the representation needed. So understand your guide teams, we can change, we can do different representations. It's all about what you're needing in the moment, because that's what you and we agreed on. Okay. When you said yes to that body and we said, we got your back, babes, this all was part of that game too. So know that yes, you could see your guide as a dog, and you could see your guide as a purple people eater, and you could see your guide as an old Frenchman, a Scotsman, a Palladian, even sometimes a lion. It's all about the connection with you and what we represent in the plan that we've discussed and laid out with you. Okay. When you get to certain points, we may go ahead and change our presentation. I did that with her. When she was finally at the point to sit down and start working with us and left the other part of the working world you guys have, it was time for me to also shift from being the old man to my preferred state of being, which is in a human form, a little more like 30. I liked those ages, you know, but we will use what's going to help us connect with you. So we want you to understand that. You may see something that looks really weird and think, no, that representation is for you today, and it's exactly what you need. And then that's how we're going to be able to build from there. Okay. It's an awesome world you all are in. And it's scary as crap right now too. And we can see it and we hear it and we feel it and we know it. But this is the deep end of the game, guys. And y'all got your flotation devices for this. It's all the tools you got in your backpacks. All them little geode packs of energy that float around in your space. It's got all the stuff you need to manage this, because y'all are the game changers. Earth ain't staying the way it was. It never was going to. So that thing needs to be like let go, because that whole plan of like, let's go back to like, 2000 years ago. Not only did the humanity leave that shit long ago, but Earth, Gaia, the living being within your planet that's just like you. She's a soul being. Her evolution is through a planetary experience that you're a part of. She is not going to just sit back and be toting the load all the time and be like, oh yeah, I'm humans, I just got to like pick them up and, keep changing the diapers. Fuck it. No, it doesn't happen that way. It all has a game plan. It all has players, and you guys are the exciting part. That's why you're here. And that's also why many of you are sitting here today for the Channeling Summit. It's why those of you listening to the recording are here to hear this too. Because the world may look like crap, but it's not. You each need to pick up the parts that are for you and drop them seeds, planting and sowing, because that's the part of the game you're in. Deep end of the water isn't going to last forever. It never does. Y'all make it through every time. You got it. You just have to change your thought plan about it and how you're looking at it. Okay. I think that's kind of why, like Essie and I decided we were coming in today and, not letting her just keep running the show. She's been talking about retiring at the end of this year, and we're not going to let her. Ha, we just spilled that beans today, didn't we? So, yeah, because it's no longer about the individuals. We're taking this game now to bigger platforms because we need to be heard throughout the game plans that are out there in the ethers, not just ours. She's not the only voice either. See, every single one of you has a voice in this. Every single one of you create energy within this game. The old paradigm is struggling so hard, it's choking itself, but it also has deep roots, babies. So you have to pay attention. How do you use your energy, and what is the pebble in the pond that you want to be? And go from there. People run into you. They're asking you questions. Plant the seed. It's not up to you to fertilize it. It's not up to you to tend to it and grow it and trim it and all that other kind of crap. You plant the seed. It's up to them and how they grow it. You see, it's always been that way. That's the freedom that you have as a soul within this realm of Earth. You see, it's being able to do that. That's also why so many are being called to the healing aspect of this planet, because there's a lot of change happening. There's a lot of old leaving. Her and her friends just did a 7-day portal over Salem and northern Canada, northern New England. For 7 days, they held this gateway. They don't realize it, but they helped over 150,000 souls go home. Nobody knows the number, but they do now. It's an important job because that's what your planet is about right now. The old blood, the old energy, all them dust bunnies y'all left hanging around from previous lifetimes. They're not needed for the new energy you've implanted, that you've been anchoring, that the new generations need to work with. That's why your younger generations have ADHD, ADD. Those are definitions of diagnosis that your world uses. For us, it is that they are beyond the limitations of what the mind was in the human body in the previous generations. Activations within their DNA has changed the way the molecular structure of their brains work. And that's why you're challenged with it. You want them to conform. They are not meant to conform. Their sensitivities of the younger generations are on purpose because they are the game changers. They are the creators. You, the older generations, are the destroyers. We needed to have the destroyers in order to deconstruct what you constructed so that the new creations can be anchored. That's how the DNA has changed. The planet has changed. New beings will change. Animal creations, extinctions, they will be leaving in larger groups because the new planetary environment, the new atmosphere that has been in motion, that you all have turned eyes to and away from many often, is now beyond a state of repair. So some of the natural beings will be leaving your planetary realm, and new creations have to be made to sustain the planetary realm, including humanities, you see. We don't want any of this information to be fearful. It's embraced. This was the game plan. that we all set in motion, not just in the last 50 years, guys. It takes us longer to do things like this than that. You know that. This began in the Dark Ages. And somebody had to turn the light on. And that's you in the now. So I'm going to hand over my vehicle to our next speaker. He's ready to bring in a blessing as his time period, the Pisces, is shifting and closing its dimensional forms. And the age of Aquarius has already begun to open its doors. You see, there isn't a door and a open like your year does. For us, these have to overlap. There are gaps in there that are both in order to transition, because this is masses of energy, not just the flick of a thumb. So thank you all for having me. I held it pretty good.
Thank you, Ezra. Appreciate it. Welcome. Take your time.
It's my honor to speak with you today.
Honored to have you with us.
I am Essie, as my dear friend likes to call me. You on the planet most notarized me for my lifetime as Yeshua. You have also termed me as Jesus. I prefer Essie when using this body to speak with you. It lets go of those preconceptions that have been created about me over many centuries. My lifetime as a healer was to lay the base work for what you all are in the middle of right now. My work got taken off and destroyed. We've had to rebuild it from scratch. You all have been carrying this torch for so long. Some of you even into the lifetime of working with me like she did. But now it is time for the imagery, for that perception that I was ever above or beyond who you are to be released. I was you and you are me. We are the same. We were the same. We are the same. The Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. This saying is used often in the world, referred to me. We are the same. You and I are the same. You are the Father, the Mother, the Holy Ghost in yourself, just as I was, just as I am, just as you are. The more that you begin to understand this and accept this within your being, is not to inflate the ego personality of the human, but it is to bring the humbleness of who you are as a divine being, learning and experiencing in a material world that has beauty beyond what the eyes can touch and physicality can touch. It is not about a bowing down, a subservient belief system. That was then. This is now. This is now for humanity to understand that I was always one of you, and I still am. And you are no different than me. And I'll repeat that again for those in the back who need to hear it a little bit louder. Every human on this planet is no different than me. As Yeshua, as Jesus, as Essie, as any title and label you wish to profess, you are the same as I am and have always been. It was my honor in that lifetime to learn and experience from that level. But that was not my only lifetime either. Just like you, I did many, many lifetimes. I didn't become an ascended master just from the life of Isa. It was from many thousands of lifetimes of experiences, not one. I had to go through my soul elevation, all just as everyone else does. The evolution of growing and experiencing life in all forms of being. It's one of the beautiful creations our souls are able to do and be. And so in your tumultuous times of worry and concern right now, we, and I say we because it is not just me. The Cool Council is here behind me. There is thousands of guides, soul group members, loved ones from this lifetime and lifetimes of others that are present every day on your world, helping you through this time. And we want you to know that today we bring you a kiss of love, that everything you have been striving for, all of the heartache that you have felt, everything is perfect and divine, is as it is, even in its destruction. Today's world has a hard time to go through. But we've been through them before. When you are killing off, not quite killing off, you're completing 26,000 year cycle of life and birthing a new 26,000 year cycle of life. There's always going to be difficulties. There's never a babe born that is able to just get up and walk and talk and dress itself. There's always the learning and the crying and the scraping of the knee and the crawling and the hiccups. That's what humanity has been going through. And that's part of the fun of coming here. But our biggest message to you today is embrace who you are and plant those seeds. Use all the tools available to you, because eventually those will no longer be needed. And you will be ready for a whole different way of connecting. That's the next evolution of the human. You understand telepathy is coming. No, telepathy is here, babes. It's already here. It's whether you acknowledge it and you exercise it. Everything you need is here. But we do want to take a moment, and we're going to do a healing for all of you. This is not just me. This is the collective that I had mentioned coming in, because they love you, every one of you. This message and this healing is not just to be received to those who tune in today. We will be sending this and anchoring it out through all of those pillars of light and those in the dark. So if you'll take a moment and allow me, all it means is just say yes. And as we step forward, the group and the collective together, we would like to say, the beauty of you is the honor of us all. Every scar you have, every tear you've dropped, we've held into our hands. And we bless them now, even this day, for all that they've gifted, not only to you, but to all of us. Everyone is recorded in the Akash. Everyone is recorded within our heart. The collective heart that pulses the universal beat of love for every one of you. We embrace you into this healing love, this kiss from above. As we touch it upon your forehead and release all that no longer needs to be. It is okay to be the child. It is okay to be the lover. It is okay to cry in the closet. And it's okay to grow old. And it's okay to be you. Because you are us. We embrace you in this hug of love and healing. Throughout the world, we anchor this message. All of you are the beauty that we are honored to be a part of. When you are away from us in your physical forms, we hold you in love. When you come home to us, we embrace you in love. You are perfect. You are beautiful for the soul that you are. All the insanity that life brings just colors you even more. We are honored to heal and release all that no longer needs to be. And we release all that no longer needs to be held. And we release all that holds you back from seeing who you are. Thank you for allowing us into your energy today. It is our honor. The Cool Council would like you all to know every adventure, no matter how dark it may appear, remember, you are the light that changes everything within it. Continue forward and hold who you are strong in all forms of light. We love you. We're going to bring her back now.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time, and it's been our honor.
As it is ours. Thank you. Welcome back. So for those of you that have not experienced Shannon channeling in the past, I'm going to bring myself back on the spotlight. I'm curious to see how long it's going to take Shannon to recover, because Shannon sometimes takes a while. And given that they knew that they were going to be bringing her back for this latter part of the conversation, I'm hoping that they left her body in a way for that re-entry process to be a little bit graceful and easier for her than sometimes it can be. So while she's kind of getting back into herself and getting her bearing, I don't know who was able to feel the shift in energy between Ezra and Isa. Some of you will have felt that. It's okay if you did, and it's okay if you didn't. There's no right or wrong in this process. It's just an invitation for us to broaden our awareness and broaden our interests of what it is that we want to do. And so as you see Shannon jumping up and down and drinking water, she's grounding herself back into her body. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to raise your hand or put something in the chat. I'm
good.
You're good?
I'm good. Yeah.
Welcome back.
A little better.
Good.
It's like having a overabundance of energy at first. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm just moving around and bouncing and
Beautiful. So thanks for sharing that, Bev. Bev is letting us know that she has seen a deck of cards, tarot cards that belong to her great-grandmother, who happened to be very famous in her town for her readings. That's wonderful, Bev.
Beautiful.
I personally have played with medicine cards. Those are the ones that resonated with me. Medicine cards are Native American, based on Native American mythology. I've never really resonated with tarot, at least not yet. I keep on wanting to explore different cards and different decks, but still haven't done that. Sally's asking, wondering what that feels like to Shannon, and does she feel more than we can? Is she still present when channeling?
Trance channeling, no, I don't. I kind of, if you ever used to like dive into the deep end of the pool and go sit down at the bottom of the pool, and there's all the music and everything else is up here at the surface of the pool, and you're down in the deep end at the bottom and everything's kind of tuned out. That's what it's like for me. I'm down in that pool of water. Since they were, excuse me, I will struggle speaking afterwards. At first, I used to get like shoved all the way out, and I didn't know quite where I was going, and I really struggled coming back in. But apparently it was better at that point. I was too controlling about my body, that it was better for me to get pushed out. And it was almost like getting pushed out of your body to like go sleep in a cradle, that you just kind of go into this deep sleep, and then somebody's like nudging you awake to come back up out of that deep, deep sleep. Since I've been doing this for several years now, it's a whole lot easier for me. So I've instead gotten comfortable with allowing, because that's one of the big things with trance channeling, is allowing your own consciousness to go sit down, and not try to jump in and take over the body, or jump in and take over the words, So it took practice with that. And in the beginning, I had to completely disappear. And I don't remember, I still don't. So I'll like tonight when I go to sleep, when I wake up tomorrow, I'll have like glitches of words that were spoken, like that'll pop into my consciousness that I'll be aware. But the whatever they said, the whole whatever they did, I don't. And I'll admit, I often don't go back and watch.
You're
I
not
can
the only one,
listen.
Shannon. I know a lot
I
of people
can
that don't go
listen.
back.
I can go back and listen, but I have a hard time watching. I can't watch myself being, it's like, whoa, who's yeah, it's a very weird feeling to go back and see yourself that somebody else is driving the car. Yeah.
So Shannon, Jackie has a question about dowsing rods and pendulums. She mentions that she is going to explore some of the different tools for her own process. And she's wondering if you have any insights on what might benefit her the most. She really felt the shift as she got a cool sensation. Thank you for the beautiful messages. But is there something that you can kind of tap into her energy as to what might be a good place for her to start playing? And Jackie, I'm sorry if I'm paraphrasing your question. I hope that I kind of got that right. Feel free to clarify if I missed the note.
Ezra is telling me, Jackie, that for you, dowsing rods are great for you for working with your connection to your team. And the pendulum is going to be a good tool for you to play with for reading for other people. Now, bear in mind, when you're reading for other people, it's a three-way party, okay? Remember doing that with the phones? Party call, three-way? So you have to remember, you're that middle phone line for the sitter and spirit. Okay. And on the spirit side, I'm hearing that side is going to be really easy for you to work with. Just pay it. I feel like you're going to end up leaning more into a rose quartz pendulum for reading sessions. And the thing is, the difference, okay, is that the sitter, that's where you're going to want to be building your relationship with the pendulum and your spirit team to then use it for a third party. So that way you're balanced here, because their energy can influence the pendulum. See what I'm saying? Since it's a three-way connection for that. The dowsing rods are going to be really good for you working, building the trust and connection with your primary guide. Wait a minute, that's not primary. I'm being corrected. So for you with readings and such, this is a specialist guide that has been working with you for a few lifetimes on using your abilities in different ways. And this is some study that I'm hearing you do at home as a soul. So for now in the human realm, they're wanting you to kind of take the two tools and separate them into two different types of links until you get comfortable and build the trust with your team in how the pendulum and then the cards and then the reading side of it work. And the dowsing rod is really for you building the trust relationship back and forth. Did I go? I don't know. Did that answer? I never know, because stuff starts coming out of my mouth, and I don't know where I go.
Never know. So a question that came through from Kelly: how do you know which skill to pursue, such as mediumship, healing, mindfulness, animal communication, etc.? They all resonate. However, which would be most beneficial at this time on the planet? Thank you. So before Shannon actually answers that, what I would like to add to this, Kelly, is as much as it's appreciated that you're thinking of the planet, begin with yourself. What is going to be the most beneficial for you? Because that will be the most beneficial for the planet. As you follow your preferences, your joys, your pleasures, the things that enliven you and fire you up, that will be the best for the planet, regardless of what you choose. So Shannon, I don't know if there's something that your team can share to Kelly for that.
I'm hearing, Kelly, you have more of an affinity to the natural world versus helping the human part of it. So your medium. Okay, I'm being corrected. So your mediumship is really tied with healing. They're like linked together, braided. So I'm hearing for you, that's why you keep feeling very torn back and forth as to which one do I do? I like them both. I like them both. But your affinity, the energy stream leads into the natural world more, which is working with animals, plants. I see a lot of water work too. So I'm hearing you're going to be going more back and forth of fine-tuning your intuitive abilities as you're relearning human healing energy tools to weave back together with them. So that way it ends up in a braid together. And then you'll be able to work much more in, have you considered like doing healing at zoos and animal hospitals, that kind of thing? Because I keep seeing.
Yes, that's what I do now. I work with the animals at the sanctuaries, the zoos, and all that. Yeah, so you're hitting it right on. But I get confused because I know I have these skills and I just don't know which to focus or pursue. So it's very helpful to get some clarity around this.
Yeah. So you're in the venue that you need to be in, this working with that element of the natural world. It's just taking your mediumship and your healer and weaving them together, because you see your mediumship is going to help you with the animal communication to care for the larger type of animals. Most people that go into animal communication, they're looking at domesticated animals, right? Your cats and your dogs and your, parrot and guinea pigs. But you're not directed that direction. They pull me way over here to like jungle land, and much more of the zoo animal situation. I see you a lot in that hospital situation as well. Not just injures, but I see like the babies and stuff. But that's where your mediumship and your healer come together, is in that element. So fine-tuning your tools and then bringing them in to work with you is actually where it's going to like flourish and take off.
Kelly, something that's coming to me about this for you, if I may, is point your attention. I'm trying to be very careful with my language here. As you are looking at your progress and your development, allow yourself to focus on what is directly in front of you with regards to your interests. What is the easier path for you to follow? And as you develop in whatever is in front of you, then all of the other interests will develop as well. As Shannon is saying, one's going to develop the other. But if you allow yourself to follow the energy in the moment, it will all unravel for you beautifully in a very organic way, where you're going to bounce back and forth between one and another without focusing on one and then focusing on the other. It's going to be a mix of them. And for you to have that flexibility is also going to teach you to be able to integrate them both.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so amazing, because I just worked with a herd of horses. And so something like that just lights me up completely to see the reaction that they have when I do my techniques and such. So, oh, thank you both so much. So much love.
Beautiful. So Mary, I see that you got your hand up, but I want to just kind of get a couple questions that kind of jumped in before you raised your hand, if that's okay. So Caroline is asking what tool would be best for her. And I know that some of these kind of generic questions sometimes are difficult to answer.
I'm totally listening to Ezra on this stuff today. So, but this is fabulous. I like this because you're seeing me do a different type of channeling.
Yeah, ta-da.
Caroline, I'm being told you lean into the crystal, the crystal realm. You have quite an affinity with crystals. And he's showing them to me almost like being dealt like cards. He's telling me, I know, I was laughing. He's giving me crap. So he's like, no, seriously. Okay. Every stone has a meaning. Every stone, all the crystals, they have different abilities, different clarities, different messages. He says, so her affinity is of using this tool not only as a spiritual tool for readings, but have you considered making some different types of jewelry? Like I keep seeing these really pretty earrings and stuff that are infused with a type of channeling energy. So he's showing me.
Actually, I wanted to make some earrings for all my friends and family with a certain type of crystal that could help with telepathy. And I didn't do it, but I think I should.
There you go. That's what there you go. See, it's coming up about the earrings. I'm being shown the earrings. So yes, crystals and that kind of thing, the jewelry. This is an area for you where you connect with spirit and you allow spirit to guide you and work with the stones, because the stones have all their own energy. They have a personality. They have, they're so fabulous.
Yeah.
I just got a rock tumbler for my birthday. And so they're even showing me like, yeah, she could get a rock tumbler and she can, make beautiful pieces from raw and infiltrating it. Thank you so much. That's not the word that's not the right human word. Infusing it with the different energies, because you have a very beautiful natural healing energy that comes through. I'm not sure if you've done any studies of it yet. If you hadn't, I highly recommend you do, to help you with channeling that healing energy a little more intensely into yourself and into the work that you're doing. But they're showing me a lot of crystal work, like you even taking crystals and using them like runes and going, yeah, let's all right, I got you an amethyst. You need to be calming down, kind of thing.
Oh, right.
Yes. Okay. Like using what the crystals are about as a spiritual reading tool. And I hadn't seen anybody do that. So this is a completely new thing I'm being told about as I'm answering your question. So they're like, all right.
Thank you.
There you go, babe.
So I am well aware of the time, and guys, I'm sorry that I'm going to stop the recording at the top of the 30 minutes. But there's a couple of questions that come through. Shannon, if you're okay, kind of sticking on afterwards and seeing if we can get through the questions. Before we jump off, before we continue with the questions, I would love to inform all of our listeners that Shannon is offering a discount to anybody that wants to work with her across all of her service lines. Just mentioned the virtual summit. And she's also launching a new Reiki class in January, where she's offering a discount as well. If you bring somebody, you both get 50% discount. And I don't know if there's anything else that you want to speak to that.
Well, for anybody, if you mentioned you were attended the CSVS, you can receive the 50% discount on
Okay.
the Reiki class.
Okay.
So January 21st is Reiki first degree. I teach Usui, traditional and modern. And so that is the 3 stages. There is first degree, then second degree, where you learn the distance and symbols, and then mastership degree, which is a 2-day event. So, and those are being done online. So first degree is January 21st from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be a half-hour lunch break built in. But as Daniel can tell you, I don't just teach Reiki when I teach my classes. I like to integrate about various energy modalities and how to kind of branch out in different ways, and tools that you can use in your Reiki practice to help expand it. So that's going on. I'm also looking at launching another teaching platform, possibly.
And when you do, let us know, and I'll share that with all the people that are registered whenever that comes into more clarity, which is really exciting.
Well, I was considering retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah, you've already been told that that's not going to happen. Apparently not.
Yeah. So
anyway,
I'm letting things unfold and seeing what Spirit's presenting to me, but I love to teach and I love to help people experience Spirit and learn how they can have Spirit in their life. So maybe I'm headed more that direction. We'll see. But yeah, thank you. It's been fabulous to speak for everybody again today.
absolutely. Absolutely. Lovely to have you here as always. And so for people that are listening to the recording, thank you for tuning in. For those of you that are here live, we are going to continue just a little bit further just to see if we can get through the questions that have been asked in the chat. So thank you guys for being here, for helping us create this with you. And as always, thank you to Shannon's team for their wisdom and their love and support. We always appreciate you coming to play with us. So until next episode, which is in 30 minutes approximately with Ana Maria Vasquez. She specializes in playing in the natural worlds. Again, wonderful conversations with her, and we will see you then. Until then, being Spirit, being human, simply being from love. And I will see you guys all very soon. Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being Spirit, being human, and simply being from love.